Hi, I'm Jeanette from Growth Unlimited. You know, as we're looking forward into 2021 and trying to plan what we're going to do to make 2021 a better year than 2020 has been, I think one of the key things that I have found for my personal progress and my personal self-actualization as I'm working to take control of my life is that I need to have a plan in place. And that plan is based on goals in the different domains or areas of my life that I want to focus on. In this series of videos, we are talking about what I am doing and how I am moving forward in my own personal process of creating the life I want to have. And this particular video, we're going to be, in a section of this, we're going to be talking about personal goals. I'm going to take, in a past video, I listed some generalized goals that I am looking at for the year 2021. And now we're going to break that down a little bit, and I'm going to talk more specifically about how I am setting specific goals in each of those domains, what the goals are, and I'm going to show you how I am making them what I call smarter goals. And then you're going to be able to progress with me as I work towards achieving them. I'm doing this even though it's a little bit of a comfort zone issue for me, because we're going to be talking about some things that are very near and dear to my heart. But I think one of the things that's really, really important here is every one of us have these kinds of issues that we're trying to deal with. Every one of us are struggling with different things in our lives. And a lot of times we reach out to people that we think have it all together, only to discover that they are not perfect and that they do have issues too. And I'm hoping that by sharing some of the things that I struggle with and the frustrations that I go through and how I handle them will help you as you're working on your goals, so things don't get quite so discouraging, because I've been there. And it's a horrible feeling to be in a place where you don't feel like you have any control and there's nothing you can do, when in actuality, if you focus on things the right way, you're going to be able to take that control. And so in future videos, we're going to be talking about my specific goals, and I'm going to be open and honest with you straight through to let you know how they're going, good or bad. And so maybe that will help you as you're working on your goals, so it makes it more worth your time and your effort to achieve what you want to have in your life. But let's stop for a minute and talk a little bit about focus. You know, focus is a huge thing, and setting goals and then just kind of sitting on them and letting them be is the reason people don't achieve goals. It requires focus, it requires effort, and it requires the ability, when you lose focus, because all of us do, to be able to pull yourself back in and say, okay, let's get back on track. And there is a specific system that I use in my own life to help me do that. It's something that I share in a course that I offer on Growth University that will help you take control of your life. It's called The New Productivity. And it's a new idea in what being productive is. Check it out, because if you have trouble getting the things that you'd like to have done, and you're getting frustrated and feeling like it doesn't do any good to set goals, this course would be something that could help you achieve what it is that you're looking for. So in this video though, I'm going to talk about a couple of the real generalized things that help me maintain focus. First of all, when I write my goals, and I write them, I don't just simply make goals and put them in the back of my mind and figure I'll remember them. The actual fact of writing them down makes a huge difference in being able to achieve them. I think it is that way for several reasons. First of all, it provides accountability. When you've written it down, it stares you there in the face. There's no way that you can put it back behind everything and say you forgot, or it just wasn't that important. Because if you took the time to write it down, then it's tangible. It's there in black and white, and it's going to be there for you. I also, when I'm having a goal that I'm struggling a little bit with, and I need to increase the focus that I have on that goal, I actually will often put it on a poster or a small flyer-size poster and post it where I spend a lot of my time. That way it's in my mind all the time. I look up from my desk, it's there on the wall. I am cooking in the kitchen, it's there on the cupboard. And that helps me remember what my focus is and keeps me directed on it. Now, one of the things that I run into problems with occasionally, because life is complicated and there are a lot of moving parts, is staying focused involves keeping specific things in mind, and outside situations can kind of distract you. This is something that I've talked to a lot of people about over the last several months as people have been working from home. You know, it's interesting, when the pandemic first started, I was a little bit concerned that working from home might not be something that was going to be very helpful for a lot of people. The old mindset for business was that you had to have people in the workplace where you could monitor what it was they were doing to make sure things got done the way they needed to be. And we as a society as a whole just kind of bought into that and dealt with it. Well, I know I personally much prefer to work from home without direct supervision all the time. It works a lot better for me, and I get more done. But I was concerned that it wasn't always going to be that way for a lot of people. And I think for some people, it still is an issue. But the vast majority of people that I've talked to over the last few months really enjoy working from home. And the interesting thing is that businesses are discovering that productivity has not decreased. In fact, it has increased. And so people are getting more done without as much supervision. And that is a benefit for the companies too, because they don't have to put out the money to have all that supervision in place. They don't have to necessarily have brick and mortar places of business where people come to go to work so they can be supervised to do their work. They can trust their employees to do the job that they were hired to do independently, on their own, able to successfully do it. And even if they do require meetings at times, many big companies, and I'm talking major companies, are shifting towards having people work from home now because it is something that works better and it's more cost effective. And so this is one of the things that I think is going to be happening in our society, one of the changes in the new normal that we need to get used to. But if you are at home and you're working and you're struggling with that, some of the people I've talked to have told me it's difficult at times because when you're home, the kids are home, there are lots of things going on in the house, and you have a tendency to get distracted. So what you need to do is figure out ways to stop that distraction from happening. And I actually found a blog that addresses this issue directly, and I'm going to share some of the ideas that the author, her name is Shelley Phillips, to put in the blog. Some of them I found helpful, some of them were new ideas to me. There is a quote in this blog that I thought was kind of fun. It says, "Sometimes you have to get rid of all the bullshit in your life and just focus on the things that make you a better person." And that is so true. When I started working from home, I started realizing that I had the power to make that change in my life. And it was up to me to get rid of all the BS that was causing trouble in what I wanted to get done. And so recognizing that you have that responsibility is a big thing. So what I do to do that is I protect my workspace from the common intrusions and distractions that kept coming up. People in my household know that when I'm working, and I need to have the peace and quiet to get done what I need to do. When I'm making a video, for example, I post a notice on my door saying a video is in process. Please be very, very quiet. And one of the concerns that I had when this all started was that with everybody home more often, moving in and out of the house, it was going to be more difficult to do that. But everybody's been really great. They're very cooperative, very supportive, and when I'm doing videos, although I try to do them at times of the day when there's less movement in the house, it still ends up something that I can do. Okay, secondly, and this one I've covered a little bit already, set the expectations of the people that you are around. Like I said, I have told people when I'm working, please do not come in just to talk into my office. Recognize that I am working and I'm going to be there. Setting those boundaries is a huge thing, and whatever the boundaries are that you need to set, with whoever you need to set them, those need to be done. You also need to set boundaries with yourself, because if you have other people in your life that are in a position where they're going to need you, you may need to adjust what you are doing, and so you focus on your work when you're working. And when it's time for you to be with your family or with your partner, that's when you stop working. You walk out of your office, you close the door behind you, and you focus on what is the task at hand at that time. Now, if you do get distracted during the time that you're working, take a moment to address that distraction. Sometimes there's an emergency situation that needs to be addressed immediately. And if that occurs, you need to do that. But if you address it and put a Band-Aid on it, so if it can be deferred until a little bit later when you have more time to address it, oftentimes that solves the problem for the moment and you can get back to what you're doing more quickly. Also, the next thing is, and this one's really, really important, I have established a reminder for high priority items that have to be done. I've always used a planner, and over the last several months I have actually started using artificial intelligence. I use Alexa, and I actually have audio reminders coming from Alexa at any given time. When I have a high priority task that has a deadline that has to be met, I program Alexa by asking her to remind me about it at a particular time. And it's been great because she keeps track of where it is. She reminds me what's going on, and I'm able to be more productive in getting things done. Don't be afraid to use technology. It's there for our use. It's something that can be very, very helpful in making things work for you. These are a few things that are helping me be more productive. These are a few things that I'm doing to avoid distractions. I'd like to hear from you. What kinds of things do you do to get through your day to help you get done what you need to do? If you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Let's share with each other. Let us know what you're thinking, and share it so we can all take control of our lives. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great day. Bye now.